one here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of the Lunatic Creative Podcast. My name's Jason Paul. I'm your host. I am joined by
Sean Davis.
As always, this is episode 2. Hope you enjoyed episode 1. Hope you found episode 1. www.lunaticcreative.com, or you can find Sean Davis's Facebook. He's going to post about it. I'm going to post about it on Twitter. If you see us on the street, we're probably going to talk to you about it. So it'll be easy enough to find. iTunes soon, Stitcher a little bit later. We're getting there. We'll be everywhere. I hope you enjoyed the first one. And we'll be talking today about geek shit, because it's what distracts us from our inevitable deaths. Right, Sean?
Yeah.
That's why we do it, so we don't think about dying. It's wonderful. There's a lot of shit that happened this week. So let's start off with, since we're in Los Angeles, the film industry, the bread and butter, the old Hollywood sign, glitz and glamour. What else? What other fucking sayings can I say? I don't know. I ran out. I'm tired, folks. I don't have the sayings on the tip of my tongues. But what is on the tip of everybody's tongues is the reaction to the Fantastic Four trailer that debuted this week. Brought to you by the studio Fox. As we said the last podcast, we enjoyed the last X-Men, which brought hopes up for this. Proudly, before the trailer started, they said brought to you by the studio that gave you X-Men First Class and X-Men Days of Future Past. So they know that they did well. They're trying to piggyback on this. This was cast over a year ago. People were excited because Michael B. Jordan was in it. He should have been Oscar nominated last year for Fruitvale Station. So it had the cast, it had the hype, but what was the trailer like? Is the trailer up to snuff, Sean? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Do you think we're going to get the product that you want to see at the end of the day?
At the end of the day, I think the trailer is really interesting. It took a real big sci-fi approach to it, like a Ridley Scott movie, almost like Alien. So, they weren't in their get up leather jumpsuits, we're the Fantastic Four, it was more of a science experiment or something they discovered, altered, and changed their body. So it added more of a realistic approach to it, and I definitely seeing that X-Men, as soon as you see the X-Men thing come up, when it's brought to you by the studio.
But do you want a more realistic Fantastic Four, or do you want what we grew up with the Fantastic Four? At least what I remember on VHS tapes. A little more cartoony. I think the characters lend themselves to be more cartoony. But it does. The trailer, what I've heard people say, is that it would look cool if it wasn't a Fantastic Four movie. Now, I'm not deep into I don't know the whole mythos of the Fantastic Four. I'm not an avid reader of the comics. I know them in passing throughout my life. The Thing is huge. He's got a great catchphrase. And so I didn't know what to expect from it. I didn't expect a sci-fi trailer. It looks sort of a paint-by-number sci-fi trailer, but interesting. So I don't really know what to make of it. It's coming out in the summer. This is the first we've seen of it. That's usually not a good sign if the first thing you see of it is 5 months before the release. So I think it's in a really weird position. If it could somehow reach what X-Men really... I think the first X-Men, though, probably, when people saw the trailer, might have thought it had a sci-fi feel. Everybody's suits were darker. Yeah. The blacked out suits. It wasn't exactly what you... It wasn't...
like the cartoon or the comic book or anything like that.
It wasn't like a cartoon or a comic book. Fox does not... I guess they don't rely on those old tropes.
Biker Club.
Exactly. They look different. So I guess I'm gonna make the comparison to that. So I don't know what to make of it.
I think the acting is probably what we're be looking forward to, because I think the cast is what stands out the most. I mean, I know recently I just saw a movie that has Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan both in it, so they've worked together in the past. So I think that's nice, because working with other actors that you previously worked with, your dynamic is already there. You already know how to get into character and, you know, act around this person, you know, and then I think it's surprising that the thing in that trailer that's going to be paused the most time is the Thing. So every time you see him, he either breaks out of like a rock shell, and you know the fanboys are going to pause it, sit there for 30 seconds to go, oh my god, look at that, it looks so awesome.
And the jerk off a bit. They gotta fluff themselves up a bit for the inevitable, their first time seeing it. I am hoping to be surprised, I guess. This is something where I'm not going to go in with much expectations. I don't know what the director's done before.
It's my
Kate Mara's in it. She's good. I don't. It's very. It's
and the guy
it's
from
weird.
Jumper. The guy from Jumper.
And I guess that's a
and
good.
The movie
I
wasn't
guess.
the greatest, but the guy when he popped out of it, he has a really great accent. I mean, obviously he's going to be covered by, you know, Rock. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to try to have to be. It's funny. The actor's really skinny, and he's playing like a beefy version. And then the original one, the guy who played the Thing was a stockier guy too. So I think that's kind of funny. These are like all young people too.
It's an ensemble movie. There's 4 strong characters. As long as they
And the
give them all their
awesome.
due. If the Thing makes a Hulk-like save that the Hulk did in the first Avengers, it could be great. It could service these fans. I don't know. I think this is weird. This is definitely where we're reached a point with comic book movies where they're just keeping on coming. And
the bad guy's the Mole Man.
I don't know
Compared
what
to
that means.
Doctor Doom,
It's
it's
not. I
like
thought it was
the
Doctor
Mole
Doom.
Man. I mean, it's just. I mean, he's probably in it, but like I read some articles, it's like the main bad guy of it is the Mole Man. So some guy's gonna come up from underground while they're hanging out in space and go, "Hey, what's going on this level of the world?"
Yeah,
while you're hanging out in space.
This is all weird. I don't know. We're what I think ultimately is going to happen with all these Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, even X-Men. When the time comes, Marvel and Disney are going to pony up the money. They're going to bring it back to Disney for, I guess, the final send-off for these superhero movies. Maybe this is 15 years down the road, but when superhero movies finally run their course, I think all these properties will be brought back home to Disney, and they'll all be given their just due. But you can totally understand why Fox is trying to cash in on the license, cash in on the superhero movies, cash in on the goodwill they gained with the X-Men movies. So,
And then Deadpool.
We'll see.
And then Deadpool too. They're working on Deadpool.
is that Fox?
Yeah.
Oh,
Deadpool's
yeah.
going to come out with that over the summer. And I read an article where somebody said it'll do fine with the PG-13 rating.
No, I thought isn't it going to be R?
I would assume I would
It
want
has
it to
to
be
be.
R.
It has to
because
be.
if it was R, then it's like the ultimate.
Then it's real.
In the
You
Deadpool
need
comic,
to.
just
At
massive
this
amounts of
point,
gore.
I don't think an R-rated comic book movie should scare studios away. People are going to go see comic book movies. I love The Watchmen. That was R-rated.
That's a great
that
movie.
was amazing. I guess that's a controversial statement. Not everyone likes Zack Snyder, but I think if you're going to pick any Zack Snyder you're going to like, it's going to be fucking The Watchmen.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so that's Fantastic Four. Wait and see approach is basically where we're at right now. Another trailer that came out this week, Ted 2. If you didn't know that Ted 2 is a Seth MacFarlane movie, just watch 2 seconds of the trailer. You'll know. You'll know. It's fucking Peter Griffin. It's the same fucking jokes from Family Guy. Now, full disclosure, Ted 1, I was not a huge fan. It wasn't the worst movie in the world. It was good for a few laughs. I actually thought Joel McHale was really good in the first one. I'm not a Mark Wahlberg fan. But I am a fan of talking bears in general. The talking bear in the Muppets movies, he's amazing. I want him to be my friend. I want to give him a hug. Why can't that be the talking bear? This talking bear smokes weed, he drinks, he should be cool. I don't know. I didn't love him as much as I thought I would. Mila Kunis was pretty good in it. What did you think of the first Ted? Before we get into the trailer.
I thought going into it, I never had high expectations because I was like, honestly, if I like it for anything, it'll probably be because of the teddy bear.
Yeah.
And seeing Mark Wahlberg in it, I was just like, oh, you know, honestly, I think I really like Mark Wahlberg when he plays a comedic role. Because in everything else he's in, I can never take him serious because you always hear his thick Boston accent, you know?
That's true. My favorite Mark Wahlberg is...
Like, even the lines like last week when we talked about, like, Transformers. What does he say?
Yeah.
I think I found myself a Transformer.
The other guys, I think he's great in.
Yeah, I think he's best in comedic now.
But and it's good that he's playing off somebody. I just wish that somebody wasn't necessarily a Seth MacFarlane voice bear. Maybe it's the voice. I don't know. I think Seth MacFarlane's a great talent.
And Mila Kunis isn't in it.
Mila Kunis isn't in it. Apparently, she might have a short cameo in it just to write her off since she's not in it. I'm assuming the reason is she got pregnant. She went to do Jupiter Ascending, and a Talking Bear movie knocked down her list. I guess when you have a kid, you would think though if you have a kid, you want to have a Talking Bear movie, but maybe not a womanizing Talking Bear.
Came at her when you look at it like this. She went to the Wachowski side and did the Jupiter Ascending movie because she was going after Ted. Maybe she went a little crazy because she ended up with Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, we could
kind
all
of a crazy guy too. So maybe
you know what?
Jupiter Ascending would be really weird.
What didn't hit me till yesterday is that they were both in That 70s Show. That's how like post That 70s Show my mind is. I thought of Ashton Kutcher as a fucking camera salesman and the fucking punk guy, and then 2.5 Men. But I forgot they were a fucking couple on the show. It makes it pathetic to me. I don't know. I'm wrong. I'm judgmental. I would do anything to be with Mila Kunis. So people don't take my judgment for more than a grain of salt.
That's a wait and see too.
Wait and see.
It looks funny.
It's certainly not. I'm not paying $15 to see it in the theaters. It's definitely an HBO Go type of movie for me. No Jewel McHale, I guess, in it either, which is sad. But they do have Amanda Seyfried this time in. Looks like she's gonna be a love interest for Mark Wahlberg. Morgan Freeman's in it.
Though, right? She's like our age, and he's like what, pushing 40?
Yeah, but he looks good for his age.
I mean, it's
whatever.
Wahlberg, so.
I mean, the Bear's dating a stripper. And he's trying to get pregnant. It's just It's more of an SNL skit to me. It's more of a 5-minute thing.
I feel like it could do better as an SNL skit or something episodic.
Something quick 10-minute bites of it. I think that would be funny.
Oh, they already did that at Family Guy.
Yeah, exactly. It fucking fit. But I checked out on Family Guy. I'd say 5th season. I was out.
I was first introduced from friends. They're like, "Oh, you gotta watch this cartoon." And like the first one they showed me was like the one when the Kool-Aid guy came busting in.
Well, that was the first episode of the series,
and I was like, "That's the coolest thing I've ever seen."
Most of my friends got on board with it when the first 2 seasons came out in DVD, and then there was that groundswell of support, and Fox brought it back, which I like, but. Again, it wore thin. That show can only do so much. I don't know. I don't want to just shit on Seth MacFarlane. Happy for him. Making a shitload of money. He's multi-talented. Trailer. We forgot to mention this last week because we didn't really get into the current events of everything. But Terminator trailer came out. Looks pretty cool. Arnold's in it. They were fucking with the timeline as they should. I heard J.K. Simmons on Howard Stern. He said the movie had heart, which I wasn't expecting him to say. And I don't think he would say it has heart.
The last one too. So I guess they got the heart back. Because remember at the end of the spoiler alert, the Salvation one,
the robot Salvation one.
In the Salvation one, the robot had
a
human
God,
heart.
You saw that. I did not see Salvation. I think I saw 3.
It wasn't that bad, honestly.
I think
it was better than 3. It was better than 3.
Not better than 2. Nothing's gonna be better than 2. But another wait and see movie. These franchises, it's weird. It's because it's Fantastic Four, but there's 2 Fantastic Four movies before this. They weren't great. Ted wasn't great. It's crazy what gets greenlit as a sequel and what fucking doesn't. When the movie like Dredd, which is critically acclaimed, can't get a fucking sequel, but these can. But I understand with Terminator, you're bringing Arnold back.
This is definitely cool. Something to look forward to. And like, it's funny because like, you know, I like the Terminator series. And, like, looking at them, like, sitting there, I'm like, okay, if they make another one, it either has to be about them sending Kyle Reese back to protect Sarah Connor from surviving and getting to Judgment Day, or just something totally about the war. So then when you look at the trailer, it has pieces of him going back and the Terminator already being there, helping her survive against the T-1000. So I feel like in this one, I think this is what's going to happen is when they go back in time, it's an altered reality. So the events of the second one then, after this movie, must never have taken place. Because if this is them going back, this is the altered reality of what was supposed to happen, right? So then it's just in that point, it's like, okay, if they're trying to like exclude Terminator 2, then that's asinine. That's the best one.
That's the movie they should hold their hat on. My head hurts from thinking about it. I love fucking with timelines. I'm a Back to the Future kid. What can I say?
What
can I say?
Done, you know what I mean?
That one's perfectly done. It hasn't.
You know when he's in the past, and then when he's in the present, and then
they make it so well. One, it's in our reality, so we can we take visual cues much easier from it. there doesn't need to be any over explanation of why things are. But again, looks like another wait and see movie, but something I expect to do well. I think people want to go see Arnold in a good movie, not the Expendables, not that fucking movie with Johnny Knoxville. They want
wasn't that bad though. I like that.
Maybe
movie.
it wasn't.
It's pretty good.
I didn't see it. People want to see, but people want to see Arnold. People love Arnold. People are always going to love Arnold. That man's pushing 70. He's still a fucking action star, and he can be. News-wise, Indiana Jones, looking at Chris Pratt to play the lead. Can that guy do any more franchises? Guardians? Jurassic Park? Now this. He's a movie star.
He's the new Harrison Ford. There you go.
There does need to be a new Harrison Ford, though. I think for sure. I think somebody can fill that space in Hollywood. But he's a likable guy. People... I think the real test can be Jurassic Park, but I think that's going to do great. What Sean's looking at right now on a tablet is Jurassic World. They have a really cool sort of viral marketing campaign where you can kind of explore the park on the site. What's the website? www.jurassicworld.com. Really cool.
Simple. But the site's kind of intuitive. It's like you're on a resort web page.
Yeah, it's like you're going to go visit Jurassic World.
I'm going to click the dining section.
See, and we immediately go into... You can see that we're way more hyped for that than any impending... Well, what do you think with it? Well, is it going to be a reboot? Is it going to be his fucking kid? I don't know where they're going to...
If they were to do Chris Pratt again, it's like you can never... And this is something I hope they don't do with Star Wars. It's like, don't recreate the same character per se. But
it's called Indiana Jones. You think it's going to be the son? It can't be the son, isn't that? I don't know.
Or
I
they
never
make
saw
it
the
a
Shia
younger
LaBeouf
Indiana Jones, because when he starts off, he's at least in his late 40s, or they just make it a young Indy, or the middle-aged Indy. I don't know, but I just feel like
you don't think it's going to be a total reboot. You don't think this is it?
I honestly hope not, because then it's like wiping out Harrison Ford. It's like, oh, what did everything he done? And this is the issue I come in with my cousin, because my cousin commented on it when I wrote. She's like, oh God, no. And I was like, well, there's only going to be one Indy. The only true great Indy, but we haven't seen his performance of it yet. But it's like, I would think he would make a better son. When you look at him, he kind of looks like he could be Harrison Ford's son.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be cool if they did it as his son, but his name was Indy, but he never went by Indiana Jones Jr. I don't know.
I just wish that I don't know.
I like Chris Pratt though; he's great.
I love Chris Pratt. I wish the studios were either A, more ballsy to put out new properties, or properties where it's part of the Indiana Jones universe, but you don't have to call it Indiana Jones. So I guess secondfold, I also wish people weren't dumb enough to where you need to fucking say, you saw this before, you liked it, come buy it again. Because I don't think people are that fucking stupid. I think they'll buy something that looks cool. I wish they would have just put it...
Is this the same thing again? I have to buy this.
They just put it in the same universe, but don't fucking name it. You're putting undue expectations on all of it when you're... If you're going to set up Chris Pratt as fucking Indiana Jones, put him as somebody else in that universe, or make him star in Uncharted, which is based on the PlayStation game. That is an amazing game. Basically an action-adventure game based on Indiana Jones.
Is he supposed to play that guy too?
No, I'm saying, why not? He should have just played him. I don't know. I'm scared when you keep...
adventure guy, just make it's a joke,
Unless... I don't know. I just hope he isn't Indiana Jones. I hope he isn't related. I hope it's in the vein of... Like Star Wars, there's it's fucking space. There's a lot going on. You don't have to call it. Thank God they didn't name it Luke Skywalker and his robot friends. It was called fucking Star Wars because there's wars, plural, more going on. I don't know. I like the cast. Of course, I like the casting. He's a good fucking actor. He's a good movie star. He's funny. He adds comedy when needed. What else we got movie wise? Thanos. What do you want? What did you find on the World Wide Web, Sean, that you want to tell people about?
It's the coolest thing ever. It's like the ultimate. It's the ultimate geek bro accessory for your college drinking days. It's a giant Thanos gauntlet, and it has all the Infinity Stones in it, and it's just like a giant beer mug for fanboys. But it's
do you think people are actually going to use it?
Oh,
See, those
sure.
things are cool. You need to actually use it.
People will take that to the Avengers movies coming up.
That's true.
They'll
be pre-gaming.
You will see people drinking with that thing.
All right, that's good. As long, do you know how much it costs?
That I do not know. I read the post on Kotaku.
People, do you know how much action figures cost nowadays? When I was growing up, I don't think when we are. This is gonna be like an old man thing, but I don't remember action figures costing that much. And now I look at Sean's wall, and some have stickers on them, and $30 for a figure. That's crazy.
I got one for $5 today.
Well, that's a good deal. See, that's what I like to hear. I think $5.
And it's worth at least $30.
There you go. That's a steal then. But $30, that's insane. I don't know. Toys are expensive now. I thank my parents more than ever for buying me that stupid shit.
As long as you don't have it anymore.
I don't. And
that's the downside, bro. Well, now you need to go out and buy it all over again.
Well, but then I'm the sucker. Then I'm the one rebuying it.
Yeah, but you buy it for your kid, so your kid turns out to be as cool as you are. So when you can talk to your kid, be like, remember that episode of Batman when the new shit he's probably watching is horrible? You're like, oh yeah, the one on the animated one, yeah, Dad.
Well,
Mark Hamill's the Joker. I just found that out. It's crazy.
As we begin to age into the roles of writing these shows, of greenlighting what shows go on the air, I think we're gonna have a return in the form of a lot of shit from our childhood. So hopefully we'll get another Batman series as good as the animated series. That is currently on Amazon Prime. Not a sponsor of ours, but go check it out anyway.
Pay for it,
it's not free. It's $100 per year. But in your membership, you get the 2 days. You know what the fuck Amazon Prime is. They know what Amazon Prime. They're not stupid. Look at them sitting there in their cubicles, writing their notes. All right. Video games. We played them this week. We played NBA a lot.
As always.
We love that game. This is just going to be a weekly thing where we endorse how good NBA 2K15 is. So buy it, play it, hit us up, comment, and we'll play you on PS4. We'll kick your ass. We'll kick your ass. See, people think video games are competitive, but if you have kids, say you have twin boys and they're always competitive, get them NBA 2K15. You can play on the same team. That's what we do. We build a bond, and their competitiveness is squarely just put on the Dallas Mavericks and the Thunder. Fucking Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. Video game news. Well, one, Dying Light came out. Zombie open world game. Sean bought it. So Sean, what are your thoughts?
I kind of like it. It's pretty good so far. I mean, it's the comment, like when you told me, like, oh, I don't know about it. There hasn't been any reviews. They got the review late.
The big thing was they did not send out review copies for the game until the day before it came out. Now, usually review copies for a game that a studio has full confidence in is 2 weeks out, a week out. And they just put an embargo on it, so you can't actually release a review until the day the game comes out. So yeah, we're here to educate you. It didn't happen, but from all accounts online, it was not a total disaster. It's not a Halo Master Chief Collection where you can't play online.
I think it's a pretty solid game. I mean, this is the first parkour style running game I've ever played. I know people talk like one of its predecessors was Mirror's Edge. I never played Mirror's Edge.
Mirror's Edge was it was a very unique game.
Yeah, and they add elements to that, the parkour style, moving with it. And the thing that I like about it the most is it's like it takes real elements of like survival, apocalypse settings. So you normally just don't go into a place and everything's still there. Places are abandoned. You have to pick locks to get weapons, and you can create your own weapons. And I think that comes down to more of the survival part. Like it's like you're gonna die and be able to respawn, but the only downside for me so far is like if you're gonna play this online, you definitely want to play it with friends, because I jumped on today for a little bit and people are already like doing something. I'm like, oh, I have a mission to do, but no one's ever really gonna truly listen to you because they have bigger objectives. But I feel like if you have this game and you get with some of your real good buddies, I feel like you can play it really well online. It'll be, it will feel very, open worldy. You'll get immersed into it. Probably start talking like characters from The Walking Dead. That's what I would like to do, anyways.
Yeah, I think customizable characters, they kind of missed out there. Definitely Walking Dead license would be good there. Yeah. I took a look at it, played it a little bit. It's first person. It's unique in that you don't fucking just shoot them. I think I like that. And maybe this is too oversimplification, but it's not just like gun
And
shoot
it's too
zombies.
simple.
That makes it more interesting. You're really good at parkour, so you can outrun the zombies, which I like. It's not
Slide kick 'em.
you don't feel totally helpless. You feel like a fucking not a superhero, but
You feel like
somebody
you feel like an
athlete.
old Rick Grimes. Like you've survived the early apocalypse. You're deep into it. It's like 8 years in. He's like the badass Rick Grimes.
I like the
Like,
city,
the run.
the sort
Parkour
of
style.
Brazil-esque city. High rises, cool little towns you have to venture into. I like that when it turns to night.
All hell breaks loose.
Yeah, it becomes more of a horror game. That's really cool. And if it's a survival game like this is, you need sort of the passing of time. I think that just adds a different element that should be.
It's not like you're gonna sit all day and it's not gonna change and zombies are gonna be out
No.
at night. It's dark
And just
you don't have a flashlight.
it's not even a big touch anymore, but I like when games do that. It's first person. I wish it was almost third person because of how many cool parkour elements there are. I'd like to see that
Or if you
happen.
could just change that like as a camera angle if you wanted to.
Yeah, a la GTA, but I like the intensity of it. I like it feels real in the sense that shit's chasing you. You know you gotta move, get out of the way, hop a fence, go on a fucking roof, craft a weapon.
You're not gonna sit there and say I'm gonna take on 100 zombies with this
No.
screwdriver.
No.
With this hammer.
But what's cool that Sean didn't say, the weapons are fucking badass. Like, a screwdriver,
No screwdriver.
a vibrating screw...
There's a
Explain some of the cool weapons, because I saw them and then I was like, oh, this is unique. This isn't just like a paint by numbers thing. It's not lazy.
when you
What, you have like a
pre-ordered
cool
it-
axe or
when
some
you
shit?
pre-ordered it, you got like the lacerator. You can basically like take like plastic tubes, duct tape, other knives, combine them with like electricity and fire, using batteries, things you find. So you salvage a lot, which is kind of cool. And I mean, I think that adds an interesting survival aspect to it. So, like, adds, like, if you could really find these things out in the open, what would you do with them? How would batteries become useful to you again if the power is out? You know, you couldn't charge things like we have the convenience in our home. Let me charge my phone, and you're like, I gotta get my battery packs for my CD player so I can listen to music, not download songs.
Can you listen to music?
No.
Are there no CD players.
I
But
mean, that'd be funny if they had, like a special category where you could craft, like,
luxury
craft
items.
Game Boy. Like,
Oh, that'd be badass.
kill time for 3 hours, because some of the missions are timed at night and during the day. So.
I did hear you have to run around a lot. There's a lot of going from go to this point in the map.
Yeah, the bastards, it's like almost all the way across the other map, and it's like, you know, you gotta parkour all the way over there and jump and shit. But
I
it's
guess
like, it takes longer than expected, and it's definitely a bitch sometimes when you fall.
that sort of showcased the parkour elements, I assume.
Yeah,
But it's cool.
Warner Brothers made it.
The
They're making Batman.
Before we get on that, I just also want to last point. Graphics are really good on it. The textures on like garage doors, on gates, and fucking houses, very pristine, intricate, detailed. It's cool. It looks like a good PC graphics. I don't know. I'm not a huge PC gamer, so I can't really speak to the top end of that, but it looks better than a console. Definitely looks like a PS4 game. I'm glad that games are coming out. They're consistently all looking like PS4 games. But it's made by Warner Brothers.
Yes.
Good point. Batman's coming out.
What is it, June or March?
I think it's June. Use the Batmobile. Warner Brothers, pretty good run with these games. What's the studio that made Dying Light? Studios
It's the same
F-Mod.
studio who made, they say, I think it's the same one who made Dead Island, too. And people were
Yes.
disappointed with that. So when this
Yes.
came out, everybody's like, oh, they're making another zombie game.
I think people
I
like
played
Dead
Dead
Island.
Island. It was-
No? I never got to play it.
The fighting in it wasn't nearly as intuitive and as creative as it is in Dying Light. I feel like it played more Final Fantasy-esque, like picking your turn. The animations were slow in it for sure.
Dying Light seems like a darker sort of game. I like that it's tonally, it's not like it's not fun. It's not presented as fun. It's presented as survival,
Yeah.
dark, like shit's about to go down. More on the vein of Resident Evil, if you will, which was re-released, I think 2 weeks ago on the PS4. I don't.
Did you ever play the old ones?
I remember. I'm sure I rented them when I was little, but I don't remember. Not like one or two. I don't remember playing like deep. I remember getting Code Veronica for the Dreamcast, playing that a lot. I
Was
like
that
the
like a
Resident Evil
handheld,
games.
like almost like House of Dead.
No, it was a It was like a old school Resident Evil third person type
I
of game.
remember the last one I played was with Jones, and it was like 5.
Yeah, they went a first person
South Africa,
direction.
when the mouse opened up. Was really. Apparently 4 was really good, but I never owned the GameCube to play it. But the one that came out after that on like the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360.
That was the first person one, right?
No, that was the that was the third person one. The first one was third person too, and the second one was too. But the 4 one was the over the shoulder kind of approach to it. And I remember seeing the second one when my buddy played it. The first, he was like, "Oh, I want to see this really scary game," and I'm like, "Okay." And then he showed me, and I was like, "This isn't really scary. It looks like a pain in the ass." But I played the 4th one, which was
kind of
cool.
scary when I was little. What was the other one? Silent Hill. I think that
I played one of
that
them.
looks scarier.
They definitely look scary.
New
Have
one
a
looks
darker
cool.
element, but I think the Resident Evil games definitely take them over the top. But the new one, the new Silent Hill, is gonna have good old Norman Reedus as Daryl Dixon in it.
That
Not
trailer,
playing Daryl Dixon, but when people saw it, they're like,
no, but that's fine.
awesome.
They're piggyback. But what? Good for him. Glad he's gonna do something like that. That's really cool. It's because.
Hey, he's gonna get cash for video game likeness rights, I guess.
Yeah, but he's
nice.
also, I'm pretty sure he's doing like, the motion capture for it and like the full body to like pick up on the facial elements. I know Ellen Page did that for a game, and I think that shows that like they're down to showcase themselves and be a participant in a new art form, basically, allowing them to act in a totally new way.
And the main selling point of it's gonna be the graphics. And didn't they? I think they
Well,
added some new
I think
stuff
they're going to
too.
try to. Isn't it Guillermo del Toro who's writing it? It's somebody crazy writing it. So I think it's going to try to be legitimately scary. Which I'd be more apt to be scared by a video game than I would a movie. If I'm in a movie theater,
Even within
not
it's kinda scary,
participating,
too. They're getting more into that. Like, I'm going to scare you.
when you play a video game, since you're an active participant in it, it's easier to sort of drop any perceptions that it's not. It's easier to buy into it.
For sure.
Suspend your disbelief a little bit more because you're playing it. You take a more vested interest in the main character protagonist. So that came out on PS4. I'd be interested if... I guess it's pretty cheap. I think it'd probably be a good pickup if you're a fan of it because it seems pretty timeless. I mean, people who like Resident Evil, and they're going to get all the Resident Evils.
Huge movies, toys,
It's huge. The movies. I think I saw the first movie. I don't know.
Okay. They're getting. They progressively.
It's a cool universe they
Get
laid
a lot
out
better.
in Resident Evil that they can do all that. All right, more video games. Hit on Batman. I don't think we have any real news on that. Just that we're looking forward to it.
Well, I saw Jesse. What was the thing I saw about Jesse Eisenberg? Like, he's
the
definitely
video
willing to play
game.
more Lex Luthor roles in the future.
Well, he wants to get paid. I'm willing to play more as well. Star Wars Battlefront.
That's gonna be awesome.
That I saw on IGN. They showed like concept artwork from it, and just it looks like they're going to try to be very detailed with it. I'm expecting recreations from I'd say episodes 4 through 6 at least.
Yeah, 1 through 3 too.
And if it's using the Battlefield engine, right?
Yeah, DICE is making it. It's the same people who made Battlefield.
If it's in the vein of Battlefield, you need to have levels spanning all 3 of the original trilogy.
Hoth.
Cool fucking places, and just make them very detailed, intricate, true to life, for lack of a better
Did you ever
term.
play any of the Star Wars Battlefronts? Because I have a feeling it's going to take a lot of those elements. So,
What?
But that game had similar setup the way you would play, like, war basically in Battlefield, like as your country versus that country. So I think it's going to take a lot of Battlefield elements to it. How sparse the vehicles are and like your class, I think will be
That's
really
the other
similar.
thing.
The class is what we need.
Battlefield does vehicles good,
Yeah.
and there needs to be a TIE fighter fight.
That Hoth, if they just recreate that Hoth scene, that would be the most played online match ever. Imagine that, like you and your homie get in the snow speeder.
Yeah.
I'm riding in the cockpit. You're in the back. You man in the little gunner, and then you have your homies that are playing against you, and they're in the giant AT-AT walker. Like,
that is cool.
And then your other homie's the Jedi. He's like, I'm coming
and you're
right
on the
butt.
ground, and what are the animals called? those shit, they could fucking pop
or...
out. Like, there's just the possibilities. They're not endless, but they're close to endless, and people fucking eat that up. If you do a Star Wars game right, people
awesome.
buy it.
I would buy it. I'm going to buy it.
I think it looks really cool. I played a few when I was really little. The games on the PC.
Played, man?
I feel like I played a couple on the PC that were like first-person shooters. The one I really liked was, I think it was a launch game for the N64, Shadows of the Empire. That might be my favorite.
You ever go back and look at it now?
I watched a YouTube video of somebody playing it.
And you're like, I can't believe I played that.
It looks like shit.
It's funny how when it came out, you're like, man, this looks awesome.
But it looked, the N64 in general, if you go back and look at a lot of the games, they don't look good. But PlayStation looks a little better because it's like, I guess maybe it's the cartridge. I don't know what it is.
It's a disc from the.
It looks very analog. It doesn't look digital. But yeah, it looks like shit now. But when you're there and being able to
I remember watching my buddy play that. I was like, that game looks so good. Oh, it is so good. You get your own ship too and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like people didn't talk about it, but that was super fucking fun. That was
Rogue Squadron was the one they did because that one was done well. That was the first Star Wars flying ship element that they brought was like Rogue Squadron. And I know they had previous ones on the PC, and I played, believe it or not, some of those way back in the day, and they were mediocre at best.
Pod Racer game was really good.
For 64, that was
Pod Racer game was better than the movie. Like, I'm not gonna say it's worth it that the movie happened, but the Pod Racer game was dope, and Pod Racers are dope.
The arcade version.
I think that's the best thing to come out of the original trilogy in terms of things that we can use going forward. Let's fucking have a re-release. Let's have some pod racing in Battlefront.
I just remember the arcade version of it was.
Oh yeah.
It's horrible. You need some
brings up a great one. The arcade original trilogy game.
That's
when you sit in and it goes through all three movies.
You do.
One. I forget how far I forgot.
The scene on Endor with the speeder bikes, which was awesome, and then you do the Hoth battle. You fight Darth Vader you fight Boba Fett in Tatooine by the pit, and then you have what was the other one? You fought Darth Vader in like the end of Return of the Jedi.
Was it a lightsaber thing?
Yeah,
okay.
Move the light.
I think I remember that. Maybe I got to the end.
Game in your life, that's probably the coolest one to buy. So
all right,
all the people who have tons of money, that's the one you're.
That's
gonna buy.
I gave this thought. If I had the money for an arcade game, the space, I would get NBA Showtime, which was like NBA Jam but 3-on-3, and NFL Blitz. It was a combo. NFL Blitz 2000 with the 4 spots for people. That's what I would get because it's 2 games in one. It was 2 games spent.
What about pinball machine? Is there any specific pinball machine you like?
I gotta give that thought. I'm not. Well, do you have an answer for that?
There's several that I liked that I played. 3. The South Park one.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Star Wars one.
I don't know if I played that.
The background of it was interactive, so it was like a game inside a game. So you had to hit the pinball and certain things to shoot down ships. And the third one I think I played was, I think it was a Sonic themed one or a Mario themed one.
I played a bunch. I feel like I played something Back to the Future themed. I feel like I did. Definitely Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a Star Wars one too.
An old school WWF game. I know in a bar in Philadelphia I used to play a NASCAR one that was pretty fun, even though it was NASCAR. Pinball's very. I think we're gonna be the last generation to play pinball.
I know, right?
I think so.
I bet if you ask kids that now, they'd be like, "What's pinball?"
I mean, there's video games of pinball, but it's not.
Nobody wants to play.
I like those, but it wasn't never as good as actually playing pinball. But some of pinball that was fun was having to use the quarters, like real currency. And then when you lost, it cost more money. So it wasn't like you couldn't continuously do it. And I think some of the charm of pinball and arcade games came with
getting frustrated, tilting the machine.
Finite amount of lives you have. Like kids' birthday parties that I like to go to definitely were in the places where they had arcade games or pinball machines. 6-year-olds are annoying. I couldn't spend all my time there. I had to play some fucking pinball.
Or some, what was it? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 4-player arcade.
Oh, that game was good.
I played that one. That one was amazing. There's a X-Men one where you're like Storm,
Yeah.
Psylocke. I mean, I think it's an
Simpsons.
Xbox arcade game.
Simpsons arcade game was good.
And that one's good. That one's real good. That one's awesome because you can be everybody in that.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Yeah. You can't be Maggie, but everyone else you can be. They had great arcade games like beat 'em ups for everything. Other ones like they came out, I think, when Time Crisis was always sick.
Yeah, that was a good one. You had to click the.
It was an on the rail shooter, but it was
the pedal so you could hide yourself.
Pedal, shooting down the reload. That was really fun. Obviously. House of the Dead, amazing. Had it for Dreamcast. House of the Dead 2.
The ones were great. Those were They even like shape them more like the Jeep you're in and stuff. And then the recent one I played, which was amazing on the Santa Monica Pier, was the Batman one.
Yeah, the Batman. That's
Take
cool.
Any of the classic Batmobiles from the animated series to the Burton to the Schumacher.
That's a good idea. I feel like, and I've seen that a lot. I saw that on the East Coast too. I feel like that's getting the push, and it should. Graphics kind of suck on it. Like the other cool thing when we were kids is the graphics on these arcade games were better than consoles.
Yeah.
Because it could, I guess it was, it didn't cost as much to, you weren't making as many consoles as you were. And it was big to house more parts and whatnot. So the graphics are better, and I feel like they could still push the limits with graphics on those. I guess they choose not to from a cost perspective. Hydro Thunder, I loved Hydro Thunder.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Cruising USA,
and it's
San Francisco Rush.
I remember on what was it? You could play Hydro Thunder on Dreamcast.
Yeah.
When you played it on Dreamcast, you're like, it's good, but it's way better in the arcade. So when you play it at home, because I remember
Dreamcast graphics were good.
You go to the arcade like, I'm gonna whoop it up in Hydro Thunder.
Hydro Thunder was great. I spent, that was at my local movie theater. Definitely spent a lot of time, like, ditching out on movies early and going to play that.
But she's gonna watch Hydro Thunder, this movie sucks.
Yeah, like, come on, Mom. Why did you think I was gonna like
Daredevil?
Yeah. I don't like Ben Affleck, Mom. It's with J-Lo. I can't relate to Ben Affleck.
She's mine.
That's not cool.
That's my
I masturbated to that. J-Lo. Knights of the Old Republic, to get back on the Star Wars game. I guess that was the last, like, really good one. No, it's the RPG. Sort of precedes Mass Effect.
It was really good.
Yeah, made by BioWare. It precedes Mass Effect, and I love Mass Effect, and then Knights of the Old Republic was great. So, what was the game on GameCube?
Oh, the other one that we forget, that's actually probably the best one, that got probably the biggest rep, and the best multiplayer was Star Wars Knight Jedi Outcast. Jedi Academy. What was it? Star Wars
was that?
Knight, or Jedi
I know what you're talking about.
Jedi Academy. That was. Really
was that on PS2?
It was. I think it was a launch. It was either a launch 360 game. It was a launch 360 game, and it was awesome on the computer. One of my friends played it till it like died. I remember you could hack it and you could be a Jawa with a lightsaber, which was like the coolest thing ever.
Ah, interesting.
But it was a really good game. Every element of the forces, you could run up walls, push off the walls, push people, choke people. You could customize your layout. That was a really well done game, and I can't remember the company who made it, but that was great. LucasArts.
LucasArts was publishing all those back then, and that's sort of what people got scared when LucasArts went under. Got sold. The studio went out. The game studio went under, and then when they were sold to Disney, and then it goes to EA, and.
Yeah, well, what was that game that was supposed to come out? 21, Star Wars 21.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be like you were
an
an
MMORPG,
like a tower. No, it was supposed to be like a.
Or was it? It was just gonna be a single. Yeah, no, they showed that at E3. I think a couple of years. People really liked it.
That went down with it.
Yeah,
the graphics look good. That's all I remember.
But I think that says that it wasn't there. Like if it was ready to come out, I don't think people would leave money on the table like that. There's a lot of money poured into that.
I just hope they one day remake or make StarCraft Ghost, because that was the most game I ever looked forward to, and it never came out. And it was a first-person version of
StarCraft. Oh,
and the cinematic scenes of StarCraft are awesome. You're like, that was awesome. The game, when you play it, the graphics aren't there, but if you're good at it, the game was great. When you saw the cinematics, you were like, I need to get in that universe. How do I get in? And Ghost was the first, eluding factor to being submerged in that world. So with the graphics now, StarCraft 2's done fairly well.
Well, StarCraft 2, that was delayed for like 10 years, wasn't it?
Well, I think the original one came
Wasn't-
out in 95.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, the last one came out in 2010.
I know that was announced. I remember reading previews in 6th grade. I used to middle schools. You meet a bunch of different people from different elementary schools, so it's an amazing thing. And you find people that are into video games as you are. So you used to bring game pros and game informers when we read them during fun. I don't know if we had study halls or what it was called in middle school. When you were downtime, and I remember reading and talking to my friend about StarCraft 2 and it looking really cool, and it keep popping up in these game magazines. Then when is it going to come out? 2010, after high school.
Yeah,
when I'm in college.
It came out. I was on it. Like, went on Reddit, dude. I was ready to figure out when that game came out because I got it as soon as it came out.
Yeah, I didn't play the. It looks really cool. I feel like I should eventually attempt to play that.
They need to make.
But it's intimidating.
And new version, updated, better graphics. It'll be awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's all a good Star Wars game. I think so. We're ready for a new one. EA, don't let us down. What else? Oh, I'm a wrestling fan. I admit it. Only here to the internet, never to people in real life. And the Royal Rumble was this past Sunday. And a lot of people were talking about it. And I just wanted to say I agree with the majority of people that don't want to see Roman Reigns, somebody handpicked. In wrestling, it's like all politics. I guess it's like other forms of entertainment. But it's weird because it's presented in front of an audience live to participate in it who know everything. So you get it'd be like the first time if there was a crowd for Ben Affleck being Batman, and the first time he walks out in the bat suit, people start heckling him and just chanting, "You're not Christian," and just taunting him. That's what happens in wrestling. If the fans aren't hyped for you going in, it's going to be bad. So the fans were hyped for somebody. They wanted the Christian Bale of their Batman. They're this person who can play it well, or I guess I should say Heath Ledger to the Joker. They're like, this guy plays the role of the best WWE wrestler, the heavyweight champion, the best. Daniel Bryan, charismatic, really entertaining in the ring. Comes back from an injury before he held the title. They put him in the Royal Rumble, which is the winner gets a shot at WrestleMania, the main event of WrestleMania for a title. So it's the biggest, highest stakes match that gets people really excited that we're almost to WrestleMania, and this is sort of the kicking off point, the trailer, if you will, to the new Star Wars, the thing that gets you hyped. And they had a very boring choice go on to win, and it's going to face Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Not only boring, but not quite ready for a prime time. Young guy, going to be good, just not there. Promos aren't great. So that's sort of just to explain the controversy to people.
But Brock killed it.
But the good thing was,
Brock killed it.
It wasn't all bad. Triple threat match for the WWE title. Sean, not a wrestling fan, watched a little bit with me. And it was entertaining, right? Like, you saw, like, it was action.
Watching it as a kid, I was never a huge fan, but definitely cool to watch some of the... I mean, Sting was, like, one of my favorite wrestlers. Yeah. But watching it now, knowing of Brock Lesnar, because my brother kind of looks like him.
Yeah, and that's who's, like, the most entertaining now.
Dude. He's, like, the biggest dude I've ever seen, and then he's just slamming people all day.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'm done. Are we done yet?
Yeah,
can I go home?
And people are gonna. The match was really good, actually. Probably
rising from the ashes.
Already a match of the year candidate. So that I just wanted to just educate you people on what this controversy. I know not many of you wrestling fans. There's no reason to be unless you were as a kid. NBA All Stars picked. This is. There are NBA geeks. Nerds. I think people can turn sports fandom into nerddom. I think it's easier just to point to baseball and the fans are in the sabermetrics, that they're nerds. But I think the NBA lends itself to it. It's really easy to follow NBA. There's only 12 players on a fucking team. Only 8 players play. You can follow it. And the All-Star teams were announced. All-Star games in Brooklyn this year. Really interesting NBA season. LeBron James back on the Cavs. And there were some surprises from the All-Star. Damian Lillard left off.
What about?
Damian Lillard was left off the West All-Stars.
That's
He's good.
He's like 5th in the race for MVP or something I just read.
he's helping. Portland's in a great position. LaMarcus is good, but he's a great point guard. He's left off the roster. Kobe Bryant gets voted in. He's out.
But Seth Curry's going to be the point, though. So I guess that's not the end of losses for the point guard position.
Yeah. The West, in general, is a lot better this year.
Then Harden's going to replace Kobe, which is...
Harden's going to be in the starting lineup. NBA is, like, really... I think there's a lot of talent. Now. It's not just, like... I loved Allen Iverson, guys. But, like, he was alone on that team. Yeah. If you took Allen Iverson off that team now, and you put this team in I think they would get destroyed. They were just... It was Allen Iverson versus everything.
Everybody has 2 to 3 good guys now because of after the big three assembled in Boston. It was like, now everybody, let's make big threes here and there. And
it's smart because why not put 3 all-star caliber players on your team and we'll try to win that way? Yeah, there's not enough to go around, but I'd argue there's more stars now than ever. There's the Warriors, that's a big 3 in Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson, the way they're playing. Like, there's talent coming out from everywhere. I'm super excited. I'll just give you a quick overview on a few more points with the All-Stars. We're Sixers fans, though, so we don't know what it's like to have an All-Star. Not anymore.
Rookie of the year, Michael Carter, baby.
East starting lineup: John Wall, Kyle Lowry, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Pau Gasol. Reserves: Jeff Teague, Atlanta Hawk, Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler.
Kyle Korver coming in.
Dwayne Wade got hurt. Kyle Korver is going to replace him.
That's great.
That's awesome. Kyle fucking Korver, a 3-point shooter.
We'll say late Sixer. We'll say a Sixer previously.
He was a Sixer. That's great. Paul Millsap, another Atlanta Hawk. Al Horford, another Atlanta Hawk. That's a huge story. 4 Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks
Teague too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Jeff Teague. Like,
that team has people who want to win now without other famous people.
They're like a team.
And,
they remind me most
players
of the Detroit Pistons from like 10 years ago.
Yeah, with like Chauncey and Rip and Ben Wallace.
These guys are even a little more low key than them, but they're making it happen. It shows what you can do with a great center and Al Horford and somebody who can just knock down threes like they're
buckets.
Like they're bunny shots from the side for you or me. West starting lineup: Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant got voted in. Like we said, he's out. Blake Griffin, Anthony Davis, Marc Gasol. That's a pretty cool story. 3 years ago he wasn't starting for the West. Now he's the best center in the game.
Aldridge. He hasn't been there.
He's a reserve. He's a reserve.
Maybe
along with Tim Duncan, Kevin Durant got in, Klay Thompson, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul. I think the West is by. You look at the players.
You think the West is going to take it?
I don't think the game matters at all. But the West is stacked.
I think the West is definitely, even after LeBron leaves Miami, the West is now stronger. Most people a few years ago were like, "Oh, there's not really many threats from the West. Maybe the Spurs." And then since the Lakers fell apart, all these other younger teams are coming up, like the Rockets. The Warriors of all of them. And I really hope to see the Warriors get real close to the finals or make it to the finals.
Yeah. These teams, like you said, put together the 2 or 3 stars as opposed to just leaning on one and hoping to get a rookie. And it's made the NBA a lot more exciting. I guess other sports-wise, I don't know when this is going up. It's going to be after this happened. But so you can laugh at a Super Bowl prediction real quick. Give me a score and a winner.
I'm going to say, I'm hoping the Seahawks win. It makes a better story, definitely. No Deflategate, right? I'm going to say it's come close. I'm going to say it's going to come down to 7 to 3 to 10 points. I'm going to say 10-7 or 3 points is going to come down to. It's going to be a one-possession win. They're going to do one of those 3 things, and I think that it's going to come down to, I'm going to say a field goal. And it will be...
And the Seahawks will win?
I'd like to see the Seahawks win. I mean, I honestly really don't care who wins, but I think, to me, the better story is the Seahawks last year as the underdogs coming, making it, beating the team that everybody expects is going to destroy the Seahawks, making a joke of them. And I knew going in, I'm like, they're going to choke. I just know it. I have this really weird feeling. And everybody expects that one team to win, that the other team wins. So it's like the Seahawks came in, they were that team. This year, I think it's the same story. Now they're playing an even better team, so it's like everybody's expecting
it's weird
how to take it again.
It's weird
the
how
Seahawks. I'm hoping they get another one. Taste the rainbow, Marshawn Lynch.
He's entertaining. He's fucking really entertaining. The Super Bowl does seem weird like that. It's always. It seems like if there's an upset, it's definitely like, oh, we never expected. Like last year, Broncos. Everybody thought the Broncos were going to win.
And they choked.
And then they go in there. But the Seahawks defense was so good. It's almost like after you saw the game, you're like, how the fuck didn't I see that before? Why wasn't anyone? Is it that obvious for this game? I don't think so. I think these two teams are evenly matched.
And the Seahawks will definitely check the balls before the game.
Yeah, I think I'm tired of Deflategate though. I'm glad that they're gonna just fucking. I don't even care. I don't think it's a big. If the balls were an ounce lighter, I don't give a shit. I think it's the same as stick them on your gloves or putting Vaseline on your jersey so you can't get a good hold to tackle you. I think it's cheating, but it's not. I think it's cheating in the same way, asking your buddy for one answer of the fucking SATs is cheating. It ain't gonna help. It's not the make or break thing.
But if they do win,
it's not like you got the test beforehand. Yeah, they're labeled as cheaters.
Cheated.
Now their legacy is definitely tainted by the mark of being a cheater. Because of that, I think Tom Brady's gonna pull this out. It's been a while. It's been decades since he's won the Super Bowl. I think it's time. I think he's going to get one more.
The past 10 years, like 5 times?
He
won 3.
Over his career, he's been there 5 times. He's 3 for 5. That's still a winning record in the Super Bowl. That's great. That's hard. Football's fucking hard. It's a hard
Russell
game.
Wilson is the second ever African American to ever win a Super Bowl, too. And it's back to back.
That's true.
So he could be the only African American to win 2 now,
quarterback.
maybe.
Yeah. Oh.
I hope he wins many Super Bowls.
I like Russell Wilson. I like the Seahawks. I like Pete Carroll. I loved him when he was coaching USC.
That's how each one of their core players is.
Their fans are awesome.
The Skittles interview, Marshawn Lynch. Have to check that out.
Marshawn Lynch
Funny video. Conan and him playing Mortal Kombat with the Patriots guy,
Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, playing Mortal Kombat. Have to watch that video. Great video.
Yeah. He's funny. He's super entertaining. I love his press conference this week when he said, I'm just here not to get fined. He's ridiculous, but I think you need one of those players. And he lives up to it.
Maybe he just doesn't want to get in trouble. He's like, I'm not saying
and he's also,
I see how people all words get misconstrued and everything.
Yeah.
He's smarter, I think. He's like, no.
He's not.
I know I'm good. Just you saw what I did. That's all you need to know. I did that. I did my job and I did well. So, like, my grandfather didn't get interviewed, I don't think.
Oh yeah, we haven't.
If they did, it was on the radio.
We haven't told everybody the lineage that you came from. We haven't divulged it. Sean is a direct descendant on his mother's side. Your grandfather is an NFL Hall of Famer. Not many people can say that. And his name is
Chuck Bednarik.
That's pretty crazy.
That's the 60-minute man.
Because it's iconic too. He played both sides of the ball, right? He was like a guy who played. He's like the last. That was a tough guy generation of football.
Yeah.
And then he's in one of the most iconic scenes of standing over Frank Gifford. Like,
this deleted game is over.
That's amazing. And you didn't play football though.
No, right?
You didn't take out. You weren't motivated by it. No. Not there. All right, folks. Well, you're not listening to an NFL star. I'm going to take the Patriots. 26, 20,
28.
24. 26, 24. I'm going with a weird score. Because
I'm going to say it's going to end up being like...
Scores get weird.
28-17 Seahawks.
Okay. We'll see. I just hope it's a good game. I hope I eat good food during it. That's it. That's what and the commercials. I hope the commercials are good. I feel like it's been a few years since we had some good commercials.
To make a shout out to my grandpa too. He's going through a tough time.
You
hope
should
he does well.
You should share this with him. But he's had a fucking he's had an amazing life
for sure. He's going through some tough times right now with his knees and walking. So
I can imagine. But how old is he?
89, I think.
That's a tough motherfucker.
He'll probably outlive me. So he'll be like 100.
I'll be 134.
Yeah. He's a beast.
All right, folks. Sean, you got anything else to add?
What do we got next week? Anything exciting?
Anything on the entertainment front? I don't know.
No idea.
Kingsman comes out in a couple weeks. That movie, we'll review it on here. Chappie looks interesting. That's another trailer we didn't talk about.
Chappie.
It's what's his name's third movie.
Guy made District 9.
Neil Blomkamp. Does that sound right?
Amazing too.
I feel like it's. I don't know. Fuck, my brain said it's a Friday. It's a Friday. Worked all week. We're not like you. We don't get this entertainment at our desk like you guys get. We have to work in silence. Maybe listening to the Annie soundtrack. Maybe. Sometimes we forget it in our car. Because you're listening to it on the way in. Some will come out tomorrow. Alright, everybody. Thanks for listening. For Jason Paul, or for Sean Davis, I'm Jason Paul.
Sean Davis.
Good night.